good. You know.
And I go to things all the time. But
There's a difference. You know, there's like folks like the Bikinis Are actually has a date this weekend. And it's not an April, and we're doing April Fool's Day, and it's not an April Fool's Day joke. Some guy actually got the nerve to ask the Bikinis Are to go out. Yeah, of course he is a big well-known rocker, you know, founder of 2 major rock bands.
Really?
2. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, you know, she's all wound up. Well, because it's a date. It's going to a movie. The guys don't ask girls to go to movies anymore.
Yeah, I know. Now this sounds really, really corny.
No, it's the way it is. You know.
It sounds really corny. Well, because I'm used to going out all the time, but usually they're friends or peers.
Yeah, no, she goes to a tremendous amount of events, but we just find it funny that it's right after April Fool's Day.
I know. Well, you know, see, part of it is I usually don't accept most.
No, but she's
anything.
No, and actually she's been out with this gentleman once before though, and she just thought it was sort of cute that he asked her to go.
It was just kind of cute.
Yeah, so.
I usually don't go out on dates.
No, but this is a real date. I mean, popcorn and. Which is funny because she can't share popcorn because she's still got a sore throat, so.
Can you believe they're putting me through this?
I know. Well, it's because we're all having a good time. She's actually got a date. Okay, we're going to try another way. There is no time to go out to do things anymore.
I know, that's part of it.
No time. The only reason she's got time is because she's been sick for the last week.
Well, you know, part of it is we joke about that, and I've talked to a lot of people on the phone, and they're like, well, let's go. And even with my friends, it's like, I don't go out with them. I'll meet you at the next event, call me on the telephone, right? Or text message me.
Unless it's to an event, we basically don't even go out. And I've known her since she was a spring chick.
No, I don't.
We go to Disneyland together because we got Southern California passes. So it's a real good deal. We also know where the best places to eat in Disneyland are.
That's just like release from work.
Well, she loves to go over, if you've seen Not a Spring Chick at Disneyland, it's either going, a lot of it's going to be in the Pirates of the Caribbean or over at the Toy Story shooting gallery over in
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear. Those are basically
I
where
like the shooting gallery.
The shooting gallery, yeah, that's where we tend to go a lot. You know, and she has these some days where she can't lose, and I have other days where I can't win. So, but now we're going to do April Fool's Day after we've let everybody know on the going out and evening life of the Bikinis Are.
I know, they think it's all very silly.
Well, it is, but not if you're a girl. It's not silly if you're a young lady. Young ladies can, if there's young ladies watching this, young ladies will understand the importance of being asked to go to a movie, you know, and not by an 18-year-old, you know, by a grown male. So, we're going to do something.
This is not, and it's not a continuation of the party you were just at.
No, it's not a continuation. That's where she gets asked to do a lot, go out, as you know, they go one thing drifts into other things here in Southern California. Same as when we're going to be going to the NAB in a week from now.
Oh gosh, it is, huh?
And those are all going to be things, things will be continuations of things for 3 days, pure and simple, or 4 days. They'll be there. Actually, we can go out every night to multiple things because we aren't press.
Actually, we don't know.
We really don't know. It's just 10 days to the event starts, and we don't know what we are. You know, go to the post office and see, hey, what's it say we are this year? I mean, we're going to the Long Beach Grand Prix in 14 days, and we really don't know what we're doing there either.
Oh, that's right.
There seems to be, we're the only people that actually got real invitations. You know, so it's just funny, because we're the only people that do anything in 3D, so at least we come and they see a 3D thing on a deal, say, hey, that's 3D.
You just reminded me I have a lot of things I have to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're going to finally do April Fool's Day.
Who's the biggest fool of all?
Yeah, which is All Fool's Day. What I was amazed at going through this thing, I went through the internet, there's about this much information on April Fool's Day.
Are you sure he said
But
that?
there's about that much information on pranks. It's just page after page of pranks, but nothing on All Fool's Day.
Okay, why did they call it All Fool's Day or April Fool's Day? How did that start?
Basically, it's not a legal holiday, but a widely recognized and celebrated day that tolerates practical jokes and general foolishness. It's marked by a combination of good humor, funny jokes, hoaxes, and other practical jokes of varying sophistication. It's a non-religious cultural thing. Basically, it's sort of weird. Basically, the earliest recorded association between April Fools and Foolish Christmas actually can be found in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Now, you're not allowed to show backsides on YouTube, so we sort of had to do a backside malfunction stop of the shooting, so we get back to you know, where the earliest time of April foolishness could be found in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Many writers suggest that the restoration of January 1st as New Year's Day in the 16th century was responsible for the creation, but this theory doesn't explain what happened before.
What do you mean?
It doesn't explain, okay, if the creation of the official New Year's Day was what called April Fool's Day, then why was April Fool's Day for at least 3 centuries before?
Oh, I don't know.
I love it.
I think that Carnival came in...
I
think there were Mother's Days and Father's Day, and the court jesters.
And the court jesters, I think the court
He
jesters
said, let's
wanted
have an
their
April
own-
Fool's Day.
That's why they call it, I would think, because a court jester historically is known as the king's fool.
Yeah.
And there were more than one jester, so there would be all fools.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all trying to make the king happy, so why not have an All Fool's Day where basically everybody could pull pranks on one another. But like the nun's priest tell, the sun wash began 20 days and 2. Modern scholars believe that there is a copying area in the manuscript, and actually the Samosh was gone. The passage originally meant 32 days after March, May 2nd, the anniversary of the engagement of King Richard of England to Anne of Bohemia, which took place in 1381. But the reader apparently misunderstood the line to mean the 32nd of March to be April 1st. You know, and in Chaucer's tale, the vain cock, which was, which was the king, was tricked by the fox, which was his wife. See?
That sounds like a Hans Christian Andersen tale or something.
Hans Christian Andersen. Actually, I know the granddaughter of Hans Christian
You do?
Andersen. Oh yeah, I know this granddaughter.
Who?
Called Redhead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She is?
You've never seen Hans Christian Andersen in the movies?
Mm. I thought you meant the author.
No, Hans Christian Andersen's been dead for too long.
I know, that's why I was
But my
like...
grandmother knew his grandmother knew Hans Christian Andersen. My grandmother also knew a lot of people that were famous because she was a bit of an Irish redhead and a bit of a flirt and great head. And my grandmother tended to show a lot of ankle. That was, and she basically had a really nice chest, and she also bent over a lot. She bent over a lot when she died when she was 60, folks. So, yeah. So, but basically, they've got a lot of things. Basically, we got one, a Frenchman in 1539. Basically, actually, it was not a Frenchman. It's basically, you'd really be pissed about that. It's a Flemish poet. Edward de Delaney was not a Frenchman. He's a poet, Flemish. He would send his servants out on foolish errors on the 1st of month. In 1869, Jean Audrey referred to as Foolies Holies Days, the first British reference. And on April 1st, 1698, several people were tricked in going to the Tower of London to see the lions washed on April Fool's Day. Basically, here's another one. Echoes the Feast of Fools, a medieval holiday held on the 28th of December.
Oh.
So you get all these little things, but there's not much on it, which I would have thought. Let's see, in the 18th century, the festival was often pointed going back to the time of Noah, according to an English newspaper. before the waters receded, he did it on the first day of the Hebrew month, which corresponds to the 1st of April. There is no explanation for why it happened. None. Totally none. Isn't that something?
But isn't there a reason why everybody does, or they just started doing the pranks because it's April Fool?
Yeah, well, because it's just got to do with the fact that I think what it comes is that, you know, the end of March celebrates the coming of the really this fall thing. You see things blooming outside, and they're going to do something.
Springtime.
Basically, this, you know, springtime brings out the foolishness in many people. I mean, every year, I worked on Bonanza on a bunch of things, where every year about the same time they would have spring fever. And they would do very stupid things on the TV show every time, once a year for spring fever.
Well, you know, part of it depends always on how far you carry the prank. Because, you know, Ashton Kutcher always did his pranks on, what is it? What's that show called?
Yeah, whatever that is.
I'm probably Punk'd.
Punk, yeah.
Okay. Which I always wondered how they always gave him the permission, because some of those things that he did.
Oh, my Angelique used to flash guys on. She'd flash, you know, really, you know, stuffed shirts on April Fool's Day.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I bet she had fun with that.
Oh, yeah. She did the old, oh. And you get a stupid look on a guy's face. So, you know, the biggest April Fool's thing was actually on her almost. We went to see a Dodgers baseball game on April 1st. And she had been into the bathroom and came out. She was wearing really short shorts, and she couldn't get her zipper back up.
Oh.
And I'm standing back there, I'm standing out in front of her with my face down, trying to pull her zipper up, and everybody's coming by, and she's going, and then a security guard come by and wanted to know what's going on, and he said, she's got her zipper stuck, doesn't she? She said, yes. So he reaches into his thing on his side and hands me out these little, you know, these little breakdown pliers. And I went, and she, ah! That's my remembrance of April Fool's Day. She was having a good time, you know. Actually, she was doing, oh, as I'm sitting here trying, you know. And naturally, everybody in the place is coming around, oh. I just thought it was hurting. I wasn't paying. I'm just trying to get the bloody zip. Well, you can't walk around the ballpark with wearing short shorts and your pants undone. They can today, I think. You know what they do is just fold it over.
Yeah, they make it part of a design. It's kind of like this. You fold it over.
But we were talking not 40 years ago. They couldn't do that. So, but she, you know, I got even with her. You know, that thing zipped up. To, you know.
Actually,
and,
we haven't even decided our April Fools.
No.
Last year we did a good one.
Oh, we did a good one. We got lots of complaints about that. They wanted to know, they're pissed off at the lifeguards that came by and stopped it because you were going on the beach with nothing on. No. They just sat there and flicked the guard across the camera lens, and it looked like we'd been stopped all of a sudden. And we were continuing to talk, as you know, and we thought it was a good one, so.
And then at the end we said April Fools, but part of it is...
Nobody paid any attention. They're just all pissed at the fact that the lifeguard had to come by before she got, you know, so before they could see the video of her with nothing on at the beach, so. That was all right, but we got, basically, we got some well-known pranks, like the Taco Liberty Bell. Taco Bell took out a full-page advertising, and the fact that it had bought the Liberty Bell to introduce a new Taco Liberty Bell, and it moved it to a Taco Bell franchise.
What?
Well, how about left-handed Whoppers? That the Burger King ran a thing in USA that you now get a Whopper designed for left-handed people. and then another one. And here's one of the most famous too. Apple Records buys the Beatles.
Yeah.
Most people didn't realize the Beatles
were
are
Apple Records.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then, in 1983, an Australian claimed to have towed an iceberg from Australia to Sydney Harbour. He used a barge covered with white plastic and fire extinguisher foam to convince everybody it was a full iceberg. And by the time that they got out there, the iceberg had melted from the heat of Australia. So bad, isn't it?
Come on.
Yeah, but they're favorite pranks. I mean, what else have we got? Radio stations have always done it.
Radio stations have always been big on it.
Yeah, basically the 1950s, the Tower of Pisa had fell over, and everybody immediately flocked to Pisa in Italy because they wanted to see the remembrance of the Tower of Pisa. Our spaghetti tree, smell-o-vision, the TV license fee evasion in Great Britain. On the day you can watch everything free of charge, and the government is no longer charging a license fee for a day only. A lot of people were unhappy because they paid for all those TV sets that you weren't paying a license for. They all of a sudden turned them on when the trucks are going up and down the streets. Yeah, that's how they tell you're unlicensed in England. They send trucks up and down the street to count how many TVs are on in your place.
But the broadcasting industry has done all these things for April Fools, and then people get really upset.
Oh, God.
And they're pranks.
It's all pranks. I mean, we did it. I worked early television in this thing, in this city. We had some of the pranks that really get you in trouble. We knew, for instance, that certain lights shine on the women weather people would basically turn their clothes transparent. So one of the directors had put the equipment on one of their weather women doing it, and she did the whole thing basically stark naked. That FCC didn't think much of it, but there were no rules that said you couldn't be naked on television in those days. You actually could be, put naked, have nudity on your TV thing because there were no set rules that said you had to have your clothes on. We didn't know. NAB didn't exist really. So, but she found out, and she got all these phone calls from guys. They'll see, all of, what do you want? What do you mean? I'm on television. I'm on television. I'm dressed and we didn't have screen captures, and they didn't have videotape. But somebody just sit there with a 35mm camera, click, 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 click. And you still got these lines, but those pictures were all over the place. So I think all the scandal publications showed, newswoman appears nude to do the weather. No, it was what the lights would basically play tricks with clothes. And you could turn certain colored clothes because you found out whether they were underwear or not. This one didn't particularly wear underwear. Well, I can't tell you her name. All I can tell you was she was dark-haired and became a really famous actress. And
that's real descriptive.
Yeah, that sort of fit. Newswoman, black-haired, became famous actress. I'm trying to figure out what that one might have been. I do remember, I think Betty White did an April Fool's Day thing. She had a set of 1948 had a set of playing cards made up, one set.
Yeah. And
sat there and I think Johnny Karst and some of the others are working at the station. They're playing poker, and she slipped the card, the whole deck into the thing, and they're all.
Who was on the cards?
It's on Betty White naked on the cards with little bunny ears. And none of the people, all of them were, I understand, all of them were in the state of, oh my, are like George Takei. Oh my.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and nobody would put their cards down. This, I understand, they're all like this, grown men like this. Betty White, 1948, what god-awful. I remember Betty White, 1948.
You do?
Oh yeah, I remember Betty White. I'm old. Betty White was a real hottie. She was naughty when she was 18 years old, folks. She just didn't have a vehicle to be naughty on like she did when she got the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But, I mean, radio stations do it, TV stations, today they all get in trouble for pulling April. I mean, we've got to figure out, there's going to be more people being fined than you can shake a leaf at on Friday this week.
Do you think so?
I think so, yeah. So we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do for April Fool's, something.
We're gonna have to come up with something good because last year, I know you guys really enjoyed it very much last year. Although there were some that were pretty upset.
Yeah.
We couldn't show everything.
Oh, here's some too that I do remember on game shows. Basically, showcases that are April Fool's jokes. Monty Hall on Let's Make a Deal, where everything was a gag gift. And, you know, everybody got the big thing, but everything, there were nothing but gag gifts behind everything. You know, other shows, The Price is Right and other things, where people were in the studio, where nothing but game show host out in the audience. And you know, and the people that are there to see the show, you know, like you get Dennis James come up, you get Alex Trebek come, and they come on, you know, Pat Sajak. They, you know, people, how the hell are these people continue getting called? But all over the audience, the only people that were being called were game show hosts, and they're sitting there, okay, you know, $10,000, you know, and Bob Barker, it's a television set. $10,000. And he said, well, somebody, you know, it's a television set. And they, you know, okay, $5,000. They make fun on those days. All the models, for instance, come out wearing, you know, basically what you had. I saw one of them, they came out, and there was nothing but a linen cloth in front of them as they walked across with the item that they were holding in their hands. And then at the end of the show, this guy, the host said, this is television. The thing went down, and they got dresses on. They got dresses on, you know. You couldn't have been more dressed, but it steamed up everybody. Okay, he told him, at the end of the show, we're going to drop these curtains. Yeah, and yeah. The problem is those things, okay, it tends to make people unhappy when you do those things. It's a funny thing when you're doing it, but if you're expecting to see a whole bunch of naked models, or you're on a game show and expecting to come up and bid on prizes, and everybody's taking it as a joke. I know another one. They had, we're going to go way back again to The Price is Right, back when Bill Collins was the host of it, who people don't probably remember. He was a big game show host. They had on, they did a throwing competition. You know, they got the people up, and they, you know, they're all up there, and they got to hit these targets, and every target they hit, they got to go further up on, you know, they could get higher things. So one guy, boom, boom. Next guy, makes explosions hitting those targets. The third guy, you know, it's just like the whole place was boom, as the targets were blowing apart. And, you know, well, they had Bob Feller, Sandy Koufax, and Don Drysdale up there through the three of the greatest arms in the history of baseball, you know, up there fooling everybody. Because if you didn't, they didn't have really good, most games weren't televised those days. They didn't know what Bob Feller looked like. They didn't know what Sandy Davis looked like. They didn't know what Don Drysdale. But these guys were blowing the targets apart. And the people are down there, and they're like, I think Bill Collins said, my God, I'd never seen such accuracy in my life. And he said, do you make a living doing that? And Feller said, well, it's nothing you'd think of, so, you know. Well, they weren't making any money. If you think that they okay, remember Koufax and Drysdale were the first baseball players to make $100,000 in a year. Bob Feller was making like about $25,000 for 154 games. And so, you know, so they were all making very little money, so not that you think it, you know, which is the truth. But those are April Fool's things. I remember, I mean, you must remember things that you've seen done on people or TV.
No, it's just little silly things.
Yeah.
Just little silly things, that's all. But usually, people are like, oh, that's usually what happens when they find out what it was.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is just to have fun.
Okay, I'm trying to find out. It said, I'm looking for April Fools done in nunneries.
Oh, thanks.
She did grow up in a nunnery.
No!
She's good. This is, you know, basically, you know, she dresses like this only because the Catholic nuns basically wore smaller bikinis.
Okay, here's one in the auto industry. President Obama pulls back funding on NASCAR on April 1st, 2009. Yeah. It was on the website for Car and Driver.
Mm-hmm.
that, and then it was removed from the website and replaced with an apology to the readers. Okay, but see, after they started protesting about the website, but see, part of it is there's some things, like on ours, whenever we've done it, we've done the thing, and at the very end we'd say April Fools. On some of them, they don't tell you it's an April Fool's joke.
No, like I said, most of the people that pull pranks, I mean, I knew Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen was a god-awful, bad practical joker. He had a whoopee cushion he got from his grandfather, which was ancient. And on top of that, Leslie Nielsen would love to eat things that cause gas. And the older he got, the worse he got, because he could get away with more when you get older. But a lot of people in Hollywood, I mean, Pat Boone is a horrible practical joker. Mr. Nice Pat Boone.
Really?
Oh, he's a bad practical joker.
How about George Clooney?
Yeah, Mr. Clooney. Actually, the worst practical joke he ever did.
Did you say that he's a big joker?
Yeah, but he actually did. The worst practical joke that George Clooney and his cousin, Jose Ferrer's oldest son, ever did was they made certain that their sisters, what it was, Jose Ferrer said, for God's sake, don't let their prospective husbands see their prospective mothers-in-law. So Clooney and Ferrer basically pranked their mothers. They couldn't let the fact that all of the Clooney women look god-awful beautiful when they're young. I mean, we're talking Playboy type figures, and then the Clooneys are not Irish, they're Italian. They love pasta.
Well,
yeah.
You know, and the other part is, since April 1st is actually the beginning of the second quarter for business.
Yeah.
A lot of times when businesses do things on April 1st, a lot of times people think that it's a joke.
It's a joke, yeah.
That is not really true. And one of the things we talked about was Gmail's first launch on April 1st, 2004. They thought it was a prank because it was launched on
It was launched the wrong time.
April 1st.
You'll actually have advertising campaigns tied to April 1st, and people would think they're jokes. Because it's a good thing. I mean, for instance, we've got a Motorola Zoom that's supposed to be out. Actually, delivery was April Fool's Day.
Oh, was it really?
The delivery in the stores, the delivery to the people that purchased it on the 27th was April Fool's Day.
Oh, we got it really early.
Yeah, so we've been playing with it.
The challenges of getting tech really early is everything doesn't work.
Nothing. We were trying to figure out what will work with the Zoom. And okay, your Android apps that may work with your Android don't work with the Honeycomb.
I know!
So
well, that's because the Android on my cell phone is supposed to be upgraded to 2.2, although I still haven't been able to do it yet.
And our Zoom is 3.0 going to 4.0 very shortly. So that's sort of but that's our April Fool's thing. But we try to do something. The next one up is going to probably be...
But tell us your best April Fool's joke.
I tell people, you can sit there, the comments will show up underneath the videos. Just sit there. I'd like to have a whole line of people.
Wouldn't that be? And if they don't show up, just send it again.
Yeah. So it's just...
I don't know why some of them don't show up. But.
Okay, what happens is there's for some unknown reason, 2/3 of all of the comments go to the Gmail account, not to the... I think probably it's got something to do with compression. But a lot of what you send to us in comments are invited, invited things never go to the page itself, and if they don't go to the page itself, they can't be responded to under any circumstances.
And part of it is we have no control over that.
We have no control. But I think it has to do with compression, that they can't compress the written stuff like they can a video. So if you have, like they had this poor girl with, Sunday follows Saturday, and Saturday follows Friday. She's got a 1.2 million negative comments, and those negative comments are not on the site, they're all on her email.
What?
Yeah, well, people really hate that song, it's the worst. Tomorrow's Friday, it follows Thursday, and Saturday follows Friday, followed by Sunday. It's still only Thursday. I'm looking towards Friday, because Saturday follows Friday, followed by Sunday.
That's really a song?
Oh yeah, we'll give you a song in a little while. We're going to do that one better with her and her Zipper Kitty. But this is, like I said, please send us your comments, because people probably want to know. Make a huge thread the next few days on April Fool's Day.
Best April Fool's prank.
Yeah, even
either you played on you,
or you heard
of, or you know. Yeah.
And then discuss the pranks. I mean, it's a good time. I'm certain that YouTube would like to have you doing something like that, because they'll do something for April Fool's Day. This is what we're going to do. So until next time, this is Old Camp.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. For more information,
You can go to www.montybubbles.net on the net.
wherever you're watching us, subscribe to us, follow our daily newscast in 3D, and thank you once again for over 40 million links on the internet.